I was asked to talk about what gives me the most pride about my time at Rockhurst. That was easy. It was teaming with Ellen Spake and Donna Calvert to create the Department of Physical Therapy Education at Rockhurst University. We spent many hours in the summer of 1983 developing what began as a bachelor's degree program, grew to a master's, and is now our current Doctor of Physical Therapy Education. Over the years, I have been fortunate to work with many outstanding faculty. Of course, I am most grateful to Ellen Spake for taking the chance to hire me fresh out of grad school, and to Donna Calvert for helping me to become a better teacher. I would like to send a special shout out to Jim Dronberger, my buddy, for always keeping me laughing and serving as my personal on-site counselor. I remember at one of the first student graduation banquets telling the students that one day I hoped that I would be able to teach to their children. Over the 37 years, I have helped to put out over 1,000 physical therapists into the workforce. In that group, there have been an aunt and a nephew, brothers, sisters, and yes, even parents and their children. I leave knowing that our department is in good hands. Our current faculty are outstanding and moving our program and profession forward. However, as I would like to tell them, it now takes 12 faculty to teach what the 3 of us did in the beginning. Best of luck to you all, and I hope to see you around.
I think, first of all, being the McGee Chair of Communication, what gives me a lot of pride is that I have had the opportunity in my time at Rockhurst to really further a listening agenda in terms of research. And so I have conducted a lot of research and published a lot of research and really helped researchers and academicians and lay people understand listening differently. And so I'm really proud that I've been able to put my stamp on listening because it's so important. And then the other thing is just being able to interact and touch so many students and have them come back to me years later and say, oh, I really remember what you taught me in the classroom, or you're not going to believe what I use all of the time, and that was just so impactful for me. I think I'll remember most the students. You know, that's why I think most people become professors, is to be able to touch people's lives that way. And so I will always have a number of students that I remember fondly for different reasons. Some I got along really well with, and others were really big challenges, and they forced me to change as a person. So I really appreciate the students. One of my favorite memories of Rockhurst actually happened 3 times, and it was in my listening classes when we did the free listening project. So twice we actually went out to the plaza and we held free listening signs, and we just stood there and waited for people to approach us and talk with us. And once we did that on campus during finals week. And it was so good for the students because they were scared to death at first to make themselves so vulnerable because they didn't know what people were going to say or ask them for. But they came away with so many different great stories. And one of my favorite stories is there was a gentleman who was a student at UMKC who had just finished his final exam for his graduate degree. He was from China, and so he didn't have anybody here, his family wasn't here, that he could go tell that he was so proud that he passed it. So he stopped and he talked to a group of students with the free listening signs. And so it was just so rewarding for them to be able to be there and support him in that.
Clearly, my most memorable and joyful opportunities at Rockhurst have been to work directly with the students in the classroom, and then to act as a mentoring role for them, to see them grow and change and become the people that they're going to be in the professional world. It's been quite rewarding, and it's been just wonderful to work with them. The things I think are the most important about Rockhurst community is the sense of fellowship, the camaraderie, the sense of collaborative attitude that we have as a real community among all of us here. And that really is one of the special things about Rockhurst, is its sense of community and the sense of we're all in this together seeking the common good for everyone. The most memorable moments that I've had at Rockhurst have been probably a couple. The first was the trips we took to Barcelona with our business students in the early 21st century. And we went over there, and it was just very rewarding to see our students enlarge their worldviews and enlarge their perspective through experience. It was tremendous to see many of them, having traveled to Europe for the first time, see them with their peers, learn and grow and observe the things going on there and experience Europe. It was just terrific. One other moment that was probably most significant was a service trip that I took in 2011 to San Salvador, El Salvador, with Cindy Schmersel and about 10 of our students. And the moment was standing in the chapel of Divine Providence Hospital on the very spot where St. Oscar Romero was assassinated. We were in the chancel around the altar and turned and looked down the aisleway to the front door and imagined what he must have seen as he was celebrating Mass when a car pulled up and a rifleman got out and shot him through the chest. It was the most moving kind of place to be at that time, and to be together in that experience in a place like El Salvador reminded me of how important the sort of role of pursuit of justice, pursuit of a better life for so many people it is to have our students experience. It was really very moving, and I just believe those are the kinds of experiences that make Rockhurst the place it is.
When I first came to Rockhurst, frankly, I wasn't real sure what it meant to be a Jesuit institution, and over the years I've come to learn that this really is a different kind of place. Everywhere I've gone in the community talking with business leaders, community folks, and just friends and associates that are in my universe, I found that people speak very highly of Rockhurst, and I'm honestly very proud to be a part of that team. One other aside I might mention is that I've had some time previously to serve on the Rank and Tenure Committee. And for folks who've been on such an activity, it's a lot of work, but I'll also have to say that it's a great window into the institution, and it really made me proud when I had a chance to review the work that my colleagues in the institution have done. There's some incredible talent at Rockhurst, and people are really, really putting their life force and passion behind what it is that they do. They're doing amazing things. And frankly, I'm proud of that. My time shared with colleagues on the faculty and other schools have been very, very satisfying and fulfilling. And I really appreciate all the ideas they've given me and the wonderful discussions we've had. I love the feeling of walking into a classroom in the beginning of a semester and seeing all the fresh faces and the little bit of fear on their face about what they're getting into in terms of the capstone. That's a really fulfilling moment for me, especially when it is literally capstoned with the feeling of pride that I see on the students' faces when they've reached the end of the semester and successfully delivered their project reports, and seeing that they've rose to the challenge of their projects and gained in confidence, saw the application of all the theories and tools that they've learned. That's a thrilling moment for me. One last thing I would say is every semester I've had the opportunity to conduct an event called the Leadership Credo, which is a time where each MBA student speaks to their leadership aspirations moving forward. I can tell you that it's been the highlight of every semester when I listen to these students and hear them reflect upon their responsibilities, their challenges, their aspirations in terms of leadership. And very honestly, this is something that every time I go through that experience, it leaves me with a sense of inspiration and hope that our young people really have so much to offer. And I wish them the very best.
I think I'm really proud of the work I've done with students in terms of research. We've had over 20 students in the last 8 years present their research or in research and collaboration with me at conferences that include the American Psychological Association. I think what I'll remember the most are clearly the people. I remember the students. I think we have great students. They work hard. People sometimes complain about the younger generations, and I think that's just silly. I think we're going to be just fine. I think a real shout out to the staff. I've been impressed over the 35 years I've been here how hard the staff works, how many hours they put in. And then finally, I've loved being part of the faculty. The faculty here are bright, committed, great scholars, smart, interesting. So it's going to be all about the people. For several years, I was the MC at graduation ceremonies, and those were always really a happy time. I mean, they were a time full of stress for those of us who were putting on the ceremony, but to watch students achieve that end and be successful and surrounded by their families was really always a positive experience. I also really liked the opening of school, move-in day, where freshmen were coming, and a chance to talk to parents and a chance to talk to students. So both the beginning and the end, those were the highlights of every year.